We continue to read Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. In order to rid the world of misery and bring about happiness, we have now created the atomic bomb. Seeing the all-pervading destruction, which I think I can share. Okay, Mata, you're sharing with me. Okay. In order to rid the world of misery and bring about happiness, we have now created the atomic bomb. Seeing the all-pervading destruction which could take place in the near future by atomic reactions. Western thinkers have become greatly disturbed. Some people try to give consolation, saying that we will only use this atomic energy to bring about happiness in the world. This is also another enigma of the illusionary potency. The problem, Abhay explained, was the world was lacking Krishna conscious devotees. Leaders under the influence of material nature could never solve the problems of the world. Materialistic illusion was especially prevalent in Western countries, which Indians should not try to imitate. Abai prophesied, however, that Krishna consciousness would one day reach the West. In the Western countries, there has never been any discussion of the relation between the atomic individual soul and the supreme complete conscious personality of Godhead. Neither their activities nor their state in ultimate perfection has been investigated. That is why, even though they have made so much material advancement, they are squirming in the burning position of sensualism. We can be absolutely certain that India's real peace formula will one day reach their ears. Abhay's articles began appearing regularly in the Gaudiya Patrika. His God brothers appreciated his writings. His denunciation of the materialistic mentality was reminiscent of Srila Bhakti's Siddhanta Saraswati. In Abhay's hand, the Bhagavad Gita concept of the Asura demon was no longer merely a depiction of mythological or legendary enemy. The Asura had come to the life in the modern day Hitler, Churchill, or even an Indian Prime Minister. But as Abhay pointed out, his denunciation of the misleaders was not his own. He was only repeating the words of Krishna. During 1950 to 51, he continued his letter writing, attempting to gain a hearing with various organizations and leaders. He wrote the World Pacifist Committee, the President of India, and the Minister of Education. He wrote to the Indian Congress for Cultural Freedom, which wrote back, suggesting that Abhay had written them by mistake. He wrote to an official of the All Regions Conference in Bombay, advising that because of their approach, nothing practical would come out of their conference. The practical solution is lying in the transcendental message of Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, as given by him in Bhagavad Gita. In September 19, in September 14, 1951, he corresponded with Daniel Bailey of the American Reporter, a magazine published by the American Embassy in New Delhi. Abhay pointed out that philosophy of understanding the absolute truth, as realized by the sages of India, was higher than attempts to combine East and West. Mr. Bailey replied that he was aware of Eastern philosophical and religious influence in the West, cited the progress of yoga mission in New York City, which he has said had some influence on the Protestants in America. But when Abhay asked if one of his articles could appear in the American Reporter, Mr. Bailey replied, if we were to give considerable space in American Reporter to say the Gita, we all in fairness would have to give equal space to the other philosophies, and our desire is not to endorse or condemn any of them, but simply to assist in better understanding. In a further reply, Abhay differed with Mr. Bailey's contention that people should be encouraged to make their own interpretation of the religion. Less intelligent men are always guided by those who are superior in knowledge in all spheres of life. Abba even wrote to Ford Foundation in Detroit, and a staff assistant wrote back. Regret to advise you that we are unable to pursue your suggestions concerning the establishment of an association of the intelligent class of people. The Ford Foundation has no program in which specific ideas such as you describe might be included. Although most of his suggestions were rejected, occasionally he received the words of appreciation. A certain Dr. Muhammad Saeed, PhD, a professor at University of Allahabad, wrote, "You seem to have assimilated the universal teaching of ancient India, which is really laudable." And the governor of Uttar Pradesh replied, "You are doing a noble work, for nothing is nobler than to be God-minded." Not only Abhay giving advice in his letters, but he thinks that he could also give practical help. If he could obtain institutional backing, he was prepared to do many things, teach classes, manage temples, teach temple worship, and initiate devotees, as well as organize various kinds of field work to propagate the principle of Bhagavad Gita. Usually, he did not spell out exactly how things should be done, but he pointed to the philosophical defects in the present methods and superiority of working in accord with the Vedic literature. By the grace of spiritual master, he knew the science of applying Bhagavad Gita to almost any situation. If someone would only show interest, he could teach that person the superiority of working according to Bhagavad Gita. After attending a meeting in which a prominent industrialist has stressed harmonious relationship between labor and management in his factory, Abhay wrote a long letter suggesting the man considers the good effects the congregation chanting of Hare Krishna could produce. Since the factory had a special employees club on launch, Abhay suggested that the workers assemble there and chant Hare Krishna. Abhay urged everyone to surrender to Krishna, but most people had their own philosophies and took his spirit to be sectarian or proselytizing. But Bhagavad Gita was universal. Abhay wrote, God could not be omitted from any program, even in the name of secular state. Krishna, as the father of all living beings, had jurisdiction over all programs, organizations, and governments. India especially should appreciate the universal scope of Bhagavad Gita. Although Abhay always had a plan of action behind his suggestions, he first sought the interest of his correspondents. There was not much interest. Then he was repeatedly turned down. But he never felt discouraged. He always anticipated finding a sympathizer. He kept copies of all his letters and their replies. A word of appreciation or a slight show of interest from a correspondent being sufficient to elicit from Abhay another thoughtful reply. He had developed a keen sense of dedication to Lord Chaitanya's mission without expecting leadership from the Gaudiya Math. He still cherished the idea that his God brothers would soon come together and preach, but he did not put any energy in the Mata since to do so would mean to become involved in one of the factions. Staying clear of Gaudiya Math's internal fray, Abhay continued his letter writing campaign alone, introducing himself as a preacher of Bhagavad Gita and editor of Back to Godhead magazine. So I think we can stop here. As we read today, right? I think Prabhupada always there to preach mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his gurus Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, and he always want to preach the leaders and you know runners of the country to make follow the Bhagavad Gita scriptural things as well as make everybody Krishna consciousness. But as you see, like not many people are interested, or at least some people have appreciated his effort to be, honest devotee and making everybody, God conscious or God minded people. Yeah, I think with that we can go to chanting. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Sundar Goswami Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Deshatarine. I offer my respectful obeisance unto His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. Our respectable obeisances are unto you, O spiritual master, servant of Saraswati Goswami. You are kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Deva and delivering the Western countries which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. Jai Shri Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta. I offer my respectful obeisance unto Sri Chaitanya Prabhu, Lord Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara Pandit, Sri Vastakur, and all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always accompanied by his very confidential associates such as Sri Nityananda, Sri Gadadhara, Sri Advaita, and by many devotees like Srivasa. Lord Chaitanya is the most merciful incarnation of Sri Krishna, and his associates are even more merciful. They are always engaged in chanting the name of the Lord and always describing the Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare. The word Hara is the form of addressing the energy of the Lord. The word Krishna and Rama are the forms of addressing the Lord himself. Both Krishna and Rama mean the supreme pleasure. Hara is the supreme pleasure energy of the Lord. Change to Hare in the vocative. The supreme pleasure energy of the Lord helps us to reach the Lord. These three words, namely Hare, Krishna, and Rama, are the transcendental seeds of Mahamantra. The chanting is a spiritual car for the Lord, his internal energy Hara, to give protection to the conditioned soul. This chanting is exactly like the genuine cry of a child for his mother. Mother Hara helps the devotee achieve the grace of Supreme Father Hari or Krishna, and the Lord reveals himself to the devotee who chants this mantra sincerely. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, 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 Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Hare, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare.